Like, there's no way. Having an interesting conversation with Helina Bavelas.
That's right.
And I'm going to put a little teeny bit of background on this. Not very much, because I think most of your stuff stands for itself. In fact, an interesting thing. Lindsay and I, we've been watching you on, it's called Rubies in the Rough.
Yeah.
But it wasn't always. Like, it was
Yeah.
Helina Bavelas at some point, right?
Yeah.
On Instagram. And Lindsay was like, you recently came out with your story.
Yeah.
In a recent post, and Lindsay was like, she didn't need to say any of it because we already knew. Somehow you've been, I think, clear enough with your intentions that I think anybody who follows you on Instagram can see what's going on. So, there's not a lot to have to talk about in terms of what it is, but let's do it. Let's just do a quick little recap. We started watching Helina months ago. I don't know how you popped up in the feed, but you always do pop up in our feed. I'm going to see if I can get close and sort of show what this is. As you can kind of see, there are a ton of handstands. Now, if we were really good at what we did and had a high-tech operation or whatever, like this is where we would pop it up on the screen and there would be several cameras in that. But it is what it is. And you go around doing handstands in amazing places, and by amazing, they're like only amazing by certain standards, but why wouldn't they be amazing by all standards?
Yeah.
And you have kids with you, and a lot of times in swimwear. But not always.
Yeah.
But not always.
Whatever I'm wearing at the moment.
So, yeah, and so the question becomes, what the hell? And also awesome. Like, if I could add just a comment to the question, awesome. Like, I love the story. Can you tell me your story? Why?
Yeah, it's pure passion. It's just, only a year and a half ago, I started doing handstands, and I love movement. And so you just picked up handstands? Because I've been in the fitness industry for almost 6 years.
Yeah, you're a personal trainer.
Yeah. And
just across the street.
Yeah. So
we endorse this. We do.
I decided that with classes and mentors, and I have gotten the hang of teaching and personal training. I mean, there's always lots more to learn, but I always want to progress to a challenge. And so I looked at handstands and I was like, I will never be able to do that. That's impossible and hard, and how do those people do it? And so I decided I gotta do that. And so I started to do that, and then it became this huge passion. And then my second passion is my boys are a passion. And so I've always held back on maybe working a lot or just anything that will take away from them. And so when I got divorced, I was just, if anybody's gone through a divorce, or not even a divorce, just a split with a partnership or a life-changing anything, you just kind of feel unloved and grasp for whatever you can to make you happy. And so I was in this rut of, I'm not happy, what will make me happy? And then I decided, you know what, I have these two boys that I love, and
names and ages. Gabe
and Bennett, and Gabe is just going to be turning 9, and Bennett is 11.
Okay.
So they're at such a fun age. And so I just decided what's my biggest priority, and it's to raise the younger generation. And I feel like everything in the world is just centered around love. If you can there's so much hate and cruelty, and then if I can teach the littles to just have this outpouring of no judgment and love. And so I'm like, how am I going to do that? So I decided, I don't have the money or the funds to go to Hawaii and to go, go all these wonderful places. And so I just thought, I don't know if I'm even that kind of a person. I think I like the rustic, the rubies in the rough kind of places. The places that you find that nobody else is at, and that you can build these memories and bonds. And then suddenly you have the little ones that are saying, what is sex? What is this? And like the questions that you don't want to sit down with your child and say, let me talk to you about something, and they're already like, oh. But they came to me with the questions, and because of the places we've gone and the bonds that we built, then it's been years now, and so I decided once you figure out something, it's time to share. And so then that's why I changed my name, Rubies in the Rough, because I thought if I can give out everybody's at the gym and places like, where did you go? What did you do? And so I'm like, all right, it's time. I'm almost done with my website, where you can just click on like just everywhere we go, hot springs, lakes, ghost towns, and it's all around within 5 hours here.
Yeah.
So it will just help other people know that like life isn't so sucky. If you can just like focus on the love that you have, then I hope to share that and help. And it's not about the followers or the likes, or the Instagram likes to follow people and then not follow them just to get likes. And I'm like, I can't play the marketing game. I'm out there to just, if you need help building bonds. I figured it out because I was so sucky and it was so horrible at first that it made me figure it out.
I got to tell you a story about that. We were inspired by you. We're a mixed family. There's 7 total kids, plus us 2, and we went out and we decided we were going to do something like this. So we traveled to a hot springs like you do.
Yeah.
So we need to bring everybody up to speed on that. What happens is Helina goes to a lot of places, but a lot of them seem centered around water.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you'll go to these hot springs or these kind of cool places, and you take your boys, I'm guessing.
Always.
And it's always this kind of off the beaten path, never heard of. Like the places you go, I have never heard of. Never. Like there are things that, like there was this one guy named Phil that I used to, that is a friend of mine. He went to a place that you went to in Nevada that says Keep Out.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that picture?
Yeah, that place.
Do they
so
mean it?
Cool. No.
Okay, they're okay if you go.
They're okay, yeah.
I wonder.
I play on it when I say the words, but really the locals say you can go in there. They let you. It's unlocked and stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, everybody I ever saw, shows that Keep Out sign.
Yeah.
But anyway, she goes to these places, these off the beaten path places, and then she does handstands. And will you show us handstand?
Yeah.
All right. And then maybe can you teach them?
Yeah, it's quite the process. So there's always like mobility that leads up to it, strength with core and stuff, but I can give the basic lines that you follow.
All right, well, she'll at least demo one.
Yeah.
maybe don't teach so nobody gets hurt today. But and then she does these handstands and puts the handstand on Instagram. Do you go everywhere else? Is there like Facebook and all that?
No, just Instagram.
Just Instagram. Anyway, the story is that Linz and I were hoping to create memories with our brood, our 7.
Yeah.
So we took them to a place called Mystic Hot Springs.
Yeah.
And a lot of that I feel like was motivated by some of the stuff you're doing. So just so you know, it's working.
Oh, that's so great. That makes me so happy.
The stuff that you're doing works. Like it made so much sense to us watching your feed. We're like, well, why aren't we going to places like that? But surely Disneyland would be a hell of a memory. And this, have you ever been to Mystic Hot Springs?
Yeah, I've been, and I'm going again next week. And you can rent buses and stay there too.
Yeah, and the buses are like, they have these. It's like this hippie commune. Yeah. It's really cool. And the buses have like these peace signs on them, and they've taken these old 50s and 60s buses, and they've gutted them, and they've kind of fixed them up on the inside. A lot of them up on the inside. And so we rented a couple of those for the kids, and then we put a tent up for us and a couple of the other kids, and we had a hell of a memorable experience.
It is so cool. It's so neat because the average person, and I don't like to think that everybody has to be extraordinary, because it's just the average person is so great, and we all have our little things to contribute, and we all have work. And we can't just leave all the time. And then you see the travel blogs that are just, that say, I went to here and there, and they have these cushy, comfy, just like little bathrobes, and they're perfect little everything. And they're so neat. And then you start just thinking, I want to be like that. And then you just start dreaming to be this Pinocchio, and I said that in my post, rather than a real boy. Like your dreams are fake and they're not real. And so if we can, I just thought, weekend travels everybody can do. that's something that they're just, you can work, you can go, you can be single, you can be all dynamics of families. It's something that you don't have to have, and I guess those travel blogs have their place too. It's good to dream.
Right. I've got friends that they travel amazing places, and
so
their whole
neat.
yeah, and you know they're in that business and they have those interests, but it's a little out of my reach.
Yeah.
And so.
And like the yoga posts, they have the perfect posts with their perfect clothes, and their perfect post that's edited out of the falls. And so it's like, I don't know, I fall all the time. And so I'm like, I gotta keep the falls in there.
Yeah.
I gotta keep, like, sometimes it's crappy where we go, it rains, we get stuck in the mud. But it's just like the journey. Sometimes the point A to point B is just, you just see point A to point B. But you don't see the long way, the long way around is where you see the good, the bad, if there was a magic wand, you know, would you take a magic wand to make your life just perfect? I don't think I'd take that magic wand, because it's the steps leading up that makes life memorable and magical.
That's what my boy said. So Zach, he's 14. We took him to the orthodontist the other day, and what did he say to the lady? Do you remember how he said it?
She asked him if he had summer plans.
She asked him if, sometimes you can't hear behind the mic, so I'm just going to repeat some of this.
Yeah.
Lindsay's talking off camera so that you guys know. Anyway, do you have summer plans? And he says, I don't know, these two will probably do something. She goes, like what? And then he was like, I don't know, they take us to these weird places. And he loves it. He actually was really being cool about it. He was like, yeah, and it was cool, and I can't wait to see where they're going to take us next, kind of thing. And he didn't say, you know, I don't mean to rip on Disneyland, but he didn't say something like, well, Disneyland and that. So I loved that.
Yeah.
Tell me a story. I'm reading your post one time, and the desert has a way of making me feel really small in wide open space. And you talked about how it didn't go quite as planned, but you made something of that. Tell me a story. Tell me the story about that post where it didn't go quite as planned.
Everything never goes quite as planned. It's always like we go there and then we're like, well, where is it? It's gotta be somewhere around there. It's freezing, it's blowing. We were probably...
Where was it? Do you remember?
This one was Baker Hot Springs.
Okay, where is that? You go watch her thing. Ruby's in the rough, by the way. Ruby _in_the_rough.
Yeah.
And you guys are walking out literally through the desert, and then there's a boiling hot pool right here, and you're kind of filming it as you go. And were there tubs eventually?
That's where we made it there. And we're like, where are all the tubs? This is every single place to go. That's why I wanted to make a website so that people can just go straight to it and not have to have the...
It's one of the things that intimidates us. Like, I don't know how to get there. Is it worth going to? I would love a detailed kind of reference guide of like, okay, Mystic Hot Springs, so that you know, this will be so, I don't want to say it like this, but it will be so bad that you will love it.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those places that exceeded my expectations this way.
Yeah.
But because they did, and it was so manageable, and there was actually some good thought behind it, you could tell that the owners and that had actually thought all of that stuff all the way through. They meant it exactly the way they made it.
Yeah.
And that made your experience go all the way up higher than you could have expected, and that was what was so cool about that trip for me. And I would have loved to have been, maybe you can.
Oh, I will. I have it all. It's almost there. And there's places all around there too. There's Red Hill Hot Springs, and there's Butch Cassidy's ghost, his actual house up right there. So I'll have a map that says, like, if you're there for the weekend, you could hit all these different places.
We would have loved that.
Yeah, it's so fun. So
that's cool. How do you find it?
I research and research and research, and then
even so, like, you would never just stumble on to most of the places you have been.
I truly think it's like what you give out comes back, or what your intentions are come to you. And so I think, because I just have this, like, I've always, since I was little, just loved people, and I thought I want to help people somehow, and I don't know how. But then I think when you find your passion, it just suddenly clicks. And so I think it's just somehow, sometimes people say, well, have you been here? Or I randomly stumble upon a place, or just by ironicness, take the wrong turn. I love the wrong turns. And I'll say that in my posts too. It's like, you always think like, don't want to take the wrong turn or stay on the path.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's better to go off the path.
What you do is intimidating, because you literally going off the wrong path is, you're way the hell out in the middle of nowhere, and it can ruin I would think, what if you got a flat tire?
I think about that sometimes.
Right? Like the wrong path has consequences.
Yeah.
If you're in Bountiful and you take the wrong path, well, you're 10 minutes out of your way, dang it. But that's serious.
Yeah, so I'm like, I can totally help people. So that's my motive, and I think it's just the law of attraction to just find the places. I don't know.
What were you like before this? Like, where you said that, like, there was a divorce, and then you became this, and more sharing, and that. What were you like before?
Super anxious. Like, I was not easygoing like this. I would always feel like I am not good enough, or what can I do to help please that person rather than myself. And I never listened to my insides ever. It was like my intuition was lost. It was a muscle that wasn't worked out. Like,
well, like any other sort of fitness program, how did you start working that muscle out, and then what were the steps to here? And then, if I could, what are the next steps?
I actually just posted one today. That's so funny you asked, because I remember I just got divorced, and my mind was lost, as most people's are.
Well, Lindsay and I can both, we can identify
just
that.
Pain of which happens to both sides of the divorce people. So I had a dream one night, and it was a friend, and she wasn't as like a super close personal friend, and she was beat up in an alleyway and by a strange man. And then I woke up in the middle of the night, and I was like, and my intuition said, call her and tell her to stay away from strange men. And I was like, no.
And you really didn't kind of know her, like, she's just a friend.
I knew her well, but not like, like a close friend, you'd be like, oh, I'll call him, see what's going on. But like, I was like, it was a dream, it was in the middle of the night, I'm not gonna go tell somebody how to live their life, like, stay away from men.
Right.
So as I always did, I talked myself out of the feelings I had. And then in the morning time, she sent a picture to me of her face just completely beat up. And it was shocking and weird, and then I was like, and it clicked then, and I was just like, I haven't been listening to my intuition or in myself, and I lost myself, and I lost my smiles, my happiness. And when you lose your intuition, how can I help other people? That's all I've ever wanted to do, is help and love. I get so focused on myself that it's gone. So then from that moment on, I decided to take little steps by little steps. Like, I'd go up the street, and I remember this was another changing one. There was a fork in the road, and I was like trying to find a neighbor's house. Go this, I thought, it's this way, I know it's this way. And then my mind was like, nope, it's because I always challenge myself. No, it must be that way, I'm not right. Go the other way. And so I was like, nope, I'm gonna listen to myself. This is just the silliest example. But then I turned the way that my intuition felt, and then I found it, and it was so funny. I cried, and I was like, I found my way. Because my mind was lost. I forgot everything. I wasn't happy or healthy. And then just little things. I just started saying, what do I like? I like movement. What do I like? I love my boys. What feels right? And so it's still a process, but that intuition just gives you something. You find your center, your peace, your wholehearted. Then you can share.
And then you should share.
Then you should share. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
What's next? Where are you going next?
Oh,
What's the next pursuit? Or you just play it? You just let the universe sort of talk to you, and then you follow, and as you learn and grow.
It's funny how steps come to you when
Right.
I don't have to make anything happen. I have to be courageous when it comes and say, okay, I'm going to come do this interview because I'm not comfortable, Or
we hijacked it. I called her. I didn't tell her a thing about it. In fact, I called Lindsay on the way here, and I'm like, don't talk to her. I hate that because in the interview, sometimes you've already talked about everything and nothing comes out because you're like, well, like I said before, I want to talk about what you said before. I want to talk about what we want to talk about. So that was brave. That was brave of you. I mean, congratulations.
So I think sometimes people say it's easy, but for me, it's not easy. Like every little step going into the personal training world was hard. Helping people means so much to me that like their health was hard. Going to new conventions to Ido Portal, training with him just barely over the weekend, or going to Kelly Starrett in California just not too long ago, or going to the Pilates and the ballet. Every single one is like, I can do it. And then once I do it afterwards, I'm like, that worked out. And then more things, then they come. So if I accept it, then I think, yeah, that's what it is. Just accepting what's placed before me, but letting it come to me, I guess.
You ever force it and it didn't work out and you're good at it?
Yeah, I know
Really?
when I force it. When I force it, things don't work. They don't align. And I've realized that now. That took a long time too.
Yeah. That's all I wanted to talk to you about.
Well, thank you for
That's
having
it.
me.
We're not done that.
Not done.
We've got to do. Would you do us the favor of doing a GPP handstand? Would you?
Yeah.
Would you do a handstand in front of my GPP sign over there and let me film that and then do even the falls?
Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you. If I can have some falls,
If she
then I'll
does
feel better
fall,
about
she's
it.
not going to fall. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk to you about.
Well, thank you for
I
having
just wanted
me.
to keep it kind of short and sweet. Now,
You're
get on your
so
hands
calm
over
and
there.
it helped me.
Good.
Yeah.
I got nothing to be uptight about, so
Yeah.
good.
You're a good host.
I don't know about that. let's handstand.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and just pick it up. Let's just go over there and do this thing.
I'll just do my basic press up.
Okay, I'll just follow you.
I'll get in the frame.
let's-
Are there different kinds of handstands, or is there like one that you do? What's the thing?
I kicked up at first, and
Okay.
that took me. I did wall ones at first.
Yeah.
Like for 1 second. Every 1 second, I was just like, yes. I was grateful for it.
Lindsay is convinced that she's going to start doing hands. See, you're inspiring people.
It's so exciting.
Do you realize that?
I'm so happy.
Our little family's been inspired by you. Like it's fun to meet you. Like I'm
so
excited
great.
about this. All right, show me what to do. I'll just watch you. I'm not even try it.
I can show you if you want to start at the wall, or I can. The press up one took me a long time, so there was kick ups and press ups, and the press ups is like, well, I'll show you a press up,
Okay.
and I can show you a kick up on the wall.
Do the hard one.
So
Do the hard
this one
first.
took me. I don't even know how long this took me, but a long time.
a long
A
time.
little too long.
I can't even imagine the amount of flexibility for that. Nice work.
I think it is a mix of flexibility.
And you can talk through
I can
this.
talk
Like
through
I
it.
should have
Is it?
done the interview with you on your head.
Because I have my little boys all the time when I'm doing this, and they're like, "Mommy, this and that," and we're just kind of in the open. And then I'll do it in my gym, and people will come, and I just talk to them when they come in, and it's so funny.
You're still doing the interview.
Just saying.
Congratulations. How can I promote you? How can I, where can people find you to kind of just learn more about you? I mean, besides Ruby's in the Rough on Instagram.
Well, I guess just at Skills Fitness is where I do the personal training.
Okay.
And I'm a different personal trainer. I'm not into weight loss. I'm more into healthy minds and movement. And so if somebody just needs help with, so sometimes I ask people, what's your definition of health? And they'll say, I want to look this way, and I want this six pack and this, and then I try to guide them and say, we all lose our pretty one day. It gets to this point where we get to a certain age, and no matter how old how long you have, it's gone. And so someday if you're searching, if you're reaching for the pretty, it's gone. You're going to be so disappointed. You'll never get it back. But if you're reaching for a goal, something that gives you passion, something that gives you strength, then suddenly you stick with it, and then you become stronger because the handstands, you're like, I gotta get it, I'm gonna get it. But when you're like, that pound, I didn't get that pound, my abs aren't how I want them, and then you're just discouraged. So I don't know if I even like the word fitness and health. It's been just,
I reject it too.
yeah.
Fitness is a piece of your health. It's not health. Health
So-
is a different gig. We
Yeah.
can get. I go on and on about that kind of stuff. They can find you at Skills Fitness.
Yeah,
What's
but-
your website going to be called?
It's going to be called Rubies in the Rough.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it.
I'm so excited.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very nice to meet you. So
Thank you.
excited.
I'm so excited for your